Heyo everybody, Figure This Customs here, back with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the new TBLeague Phicen TM02A action figure. This is a new release by Phicen, which is known for doing 12-inch steel skeleton, silicone-bodied, highly detailed action figures. And this is their first release in the 6-inch scale. I'm really excited to take a look at it and show you guys what it's all about. So let's take a closer look at the packaging and then take a look at the figure. So as you can see, we have the figure right here and this neat little box that it comes in. So let's take a closer look at this. Right here, you just see on the front, we have some warnings, choking hazards and whatnot, some poses that the figure can do, and the TBLeague logo right here in the corner. Right here is where the figure used to sit, this is where the head sat, and this right here is where those little black trunks that you see on him sat. We also have some interchangeable hands, it looks like, some open, splayed out grabbing hands, some gripping hands for holding accessories, and some trigger finger hands for holding guns and things like that. On the back, we have a description of what TBLeague is all about, so let me read that for you right now. TBLeague, formerly known as Phicen Limited/PL, Seamless bodies the crystal of PL Team's collective painstaking effort in 3 years. With great passion, PL Team has conducted countless tests and finally made it. The body is anatomically correct, gives a fleshy, tactile impression, and can do a lot of actions that average real-life people could do. The internal armature is made of durable stainless steel and thus won't be easily damaged or corrupted. It has 22 or 28 points of articulation ball joints for the posable maximum flexibility. 22 for 1/12 scale body and 28 for 1/6 scale body, both with detachable feet. With the ball joint design, you could use only the slightest force to make the doll do many dynamic actions. The armature then is wrapped in a non-toxic, environment-friendly, and medical-grade material that it is specially developed for TBLeague body. It delivers a fleshy, tactile impression. So yeah, that's just a nice description of what TBLeague is all about. And for those of you that don't know, this is something they've been doing for a while in 1/6 scale. And so whenever I heard that they were doing something like this for 6-inch action figures, which is what I collect, I became really excited and really wanted to pick this guy up. So now that we've looked at the packaging, let's take a closer look at the figure. Alrighty, so as you heard read in that description, Phicen is all about making highly detailed, seamless action figures. So this entire construction of this figure is a stainless steel articulated skeleton underneath a silicone, rubbery, fleshy kind of body suit. The hands, the feet, and the head are all molded in plastic, but the entire body is made of this silicone that they developed. And it's absolutely incredible. Just looking at the aesthetic here, the shape of the body is entirely anatomically correct, and absolutely it just looks incredible. On camera, there's giving off the effect that the hands and the head and the feet are a drastically different color than the rest of the body. I assure you, in person, they're a very close color. The camera sometimes does that and just makes things look a little different color than they really are, but at least in person. So yeah, you don't have to worry about them the colors looking this starkly different in person for sure. But yeah, just looking at the overall aesthetic of this guy, look at that musculature on the back and on the arms and even on the legs. There's not an ounce of detail really missed in the sculpt technically of this body. With the head, it seems like they went and I don't know if it's supposed to be anybody in particular. For me personally, I see a young Sylvester Stallone. But I'm not entirely sure, if that's what they modeled it after or if they just were going for just a generic male face. Either way, I like it. I think it's sculpted really well. The paint application is really good. The eyes look very realistic. But yeah, I see this and I see young Sylvester Stallone. But yeah, just let me know in the comments below if you think it looks like somebody else or if you know who this looks more like. I'd love to hear what you guys think. But yeah, let's take a look at the articulation because it is one of the highlights of the figure. You'd think that with a sort of this body glove being made out of this silicone rubber that it would kind of restrict the movement of the skeleton inside. However, that is not the case. And I'll display it right now. So as far as the head goes, you can see there's the metal ball joint right there, and it is also on a ball joint inside, so it can move all the way around and all the way back, and the head pops on easily enough. So the head can look up, it can crunch all the way forward and look down, get plenty of neck tilt, which is awesome. It's in the shoulder. The shoulders can move this far up, which is pretty cool. They can move all the way down. You can also shift the shoulder up and down. He can do shrugs. So you can shrug the shoulders up, giving him a broader sort of stance, or you can shrug them down. And it's awesome as you move the parts of the body, the muscles that are connected to it move as well. So you can see his traps are being stretched down as his arms move downward. It's just it's absolutely gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. There is rotation in the arm. However, it's not necessarily at the bicep. It is at this shoulder joint though. You can rotate the arm at like so. It's not a swivel right here in the elbow like in some of the 12-inch Phicen figures, but rather it's a swivel right here in the shoulder. So you just have to kind of move this arm in to give you a handle, and then you can hinge the arm whichever way you want, and get those good flexing poses. And as you see the arm move, the muscles do flex in a sense. They do stretch and move with the figure, which is just really cool to see. That's pretty awesome. Yes, the shoulders can also move this far forward and move this far back. So you really have no problem moving the shoulders around. The elbows are single jointed, but again, because of the flexibility of this body, you can crunch them in all the way. And that's incredible. They can hinge down. They don't go past 180, which they shouldn't, which is good. And then on the wrists, very similarly to the head, you have these little ball pegs here, these little metal ball pegs. On the 12-inch figures, there are little hinges in the wrist that help them move forward and back and around. This, it's just a ball peg, so you only get the rotation and movement that the ball peg allows, which is just a little bit of tiltage. So it's not as good as on the 12-inch figures, but I don't mind that one bit. I think this is really good. As far as the torso goes, the torso has 2 hinges in it and can crunch pretty much as far as you want. That's really good. That's an excellent crunch. And again, the body flexes and moves with it and looks completely natural. Moving back is also no problem at all. You see the abs stretch backwards like that, and the back muscles even flex a bit. So you can move all the way back. And in the same way that the torso can turn, and it just looks absolutely great. Move either way, any way you want it. The legs, similarly, they can move out pretty much as far as you want them, pretty much a full split. Get yourself some kicking poses, things like that. They can move all the way forward, all the way back, and then for the knee, again, a single joint, but it can flex all the way in, flexing that calf muscle and that hammy. So that's about as far in as you're going to get, but I think that's pretty excellent. And then similarly down at the feet that are removable, you have that ball peg that you're going to get your rotation and a little bit of tilt, probably enough tilt. A little more would be great, but this is going to be good enough for sure. So that's the articulation in general on this figure. I gotta say, it's super impressive, and if you've messed around with any of the Phicen figures at all, you kind of know what to expect here, just in the 6-inch scale, and the detail and the articulation and just the quality of the body, it's carried over to this scale. It really has. If you've never messed around with a Phicen/TBLeague figure, I definitely recommend it. They're not for everyone, for sure. Some people just prefer their figures to be plastic, but I remember as a little kid just playing with toys and saying to myself, wow, that would be really cool one day if we ever had figures that were like us, like they didn't have like joints and seams and stuff. And that was just a silly thought I had as a kid, and now it's a reality. This is real life. That's a childhood wish come true. So I recommend everyone just to try these out, just to try one, just see what it's like, because it's fantastic action figure ingenuity and creativity. It's absolutely incredible what people can do with action figures these days. So this is really awesome to see. So that's pretty much it on this figure. Let me show you just some of the interchangeable hand options that this guy has, because it does give you a lot of these are going to be good for customizers and kit bashers that want to build off of these bodies, and so they gave you some cool hand options that'll work with this guy. Here he is with his splayed out open grabbing hands. And here he is with his gripping hands with a katana. I think that looks absolutely awesome. And finally, here are his trigger finger hands, holding a handgun and an assault rifle. And just so you guys know, all these hands are very flexible material, not a silicone rubbery flexible. They're definitely a plastic for sure, but they're very pliable and very easy to get these accessories into. So you won't have any problem really putting whatever accessories you want onto this guy. Okie dokie, now all we got to do is get just a better idea of how this guy scales with all your other action figure lines. As you can see, he's standing at just about 6¼ inches tall. So let's see how that stacks up with some of the other action figures you might have in your collection if you're thinking about picking this guy up. So let's go ahead and start with Marvel Legends. I selected these two bodies as these are bodies that are a little either thinner or smaller than this body is. So you can see he's roughly the same height as Iron Fist, definitely a little bit bulkier, and while he has similar bulk to Wolverine, Wolverine is definitely shorter than he is. So here he is next to Marvel Legends Quicksilver and Marvel Legends Black Panther. These two bodies are ones that I think are more comparable in size to this body here. You see he's just a little bit broader than Quicksilver here, but not quite as tall as Black Panther here. If only there was a body in between these two to compare this guy with. That's right, you guys know what it is. It's your favorite and mine. It's the Bucky Cap mold. You can see these bodies are actually pretty comparable in height and muscularity. Of course, this figure is achieving the same silhouette with a seamless body. And of course, we have one of my favorite Bucky Cap figures, the Shocker. Or as my friends call him, the Pineapple Man. And of course, we gotta include some figures that this guy is definitely smaller than. We have my custom kit bash Marvel Legends Captain America and Marvel Legends Captain Britain. Alright, now let's try checking this guy out with some other action figure lines. Here he is next to Mezco Deluxe Joker and Mezco Sovereign Knight Batman. And here's how he scales with SH Figuarts Spike Spiegel and Figma Kiritsugu. And just for kicks and giggles, I thought I'd show this guy compared to some of my favorite figures in my collection. So here he is next to my custom Marvel Legends Daredevil and my custom Marvel Legends Punisher. And here he is next to my custom Marvel Legends Taskmaster and custom Marvel Legends Bishop. And here he is next to my custom Marvel Legends Orson Randall Iron Fist and 1000 Toys Hellboy. If you're interested in entering a raffle to win this custom Iron Fist, head over to my Instagram at FigureThisCustoms and find out how you can enter in for a chance to win this guy. Also, if you're looking at this Hellboy thinking it is the Dark Horse exclusive, you would be incorrect. This is the traditional release with the custom cast sword by Beltran 0007. That's Beltran 0007. He is a customizer. Check him out on Instagram. He's the one who hooked me up with this custom Excalibur sword and these awesome Hellboy horns. This is great for anybody that missed out on the Dark Horse exclusive and wants those accessories. Go check him out. He's awesome and incredible. And here he is next to my custom Mezco style Bane and my custom Marvel Legends style Hush. And here he is next to my custom Mezco Big Boss and my custom Mezco Metal Gear Frank Castle. And last but not least, I thought it'd be good to show this new 6-inch Phicen body next to one of the old 12-inch Phicen bodies. This is the M34, which is a pretty comparable body to this body type here. I think just given the proportions of the musculature on this one. I think this one is essentially just a shrunken down version of the M35, which is just a slightly more muscular version of this body. But like I said before, if you've ever messed with a Phicen TBLeague body before, then you know exactly what you're getting out of this 6-inch figure, minus the wrist movement right here that is in the 12-inch line. So yeah, that's been my review. One last thing I want to do before we go is see if you can take some of the heads in your collection and swap them out with this guy, just to see what possibilities you have as far as customizing and kit bashing goes with this figure. So here we have him with a Man-Thing Wave Punisher John Bernthal head sculpt. And yeah, the peg is obviously too small for the head. You have to do a little customizing to get it fit and maybe paint it to make the flesh tones match. But yeah, you know, the scale as far as Marvel Legends heads go, it seems, would work with this guy. And here he is with the DC Collectibles Designer Series Greg Capullo comic book Batman Bruce Wayne head. So yeah, again, the peg will have to, you know, the head will have to be modified to fit it on the peg, and you'll have to paint the flesh tones, but yeah, maybe you could get a muscular-looking comic book Bruce Wayne. And here he is with the Mezco 112 Collective Sovereign Knight Batman Bruce Wayne head sculpt. If you got the head sitting right, maybe it could work, you know? It looks just a tad bit big, in my opinion, but who knows, you know, if it works for you, here we go, another Bruce Wayne option. And finally, here is a DC Universe Classics Batman head. This seems to scale really well. Yeah, who knows? Maybe you could get a shirtless Batman or something like that. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So yeah, I gotta say I am absolutely impressed with what TBLeague has been able to accomplish with this Phicen 1/12 scale 6-inch male body. It's really an awesome piece of ingenuity and engineering. And just a really cool action figure. The hand options are great, the head looks good, the anatomy is perfect, and I think this is going to just make a lot of noise in the action figure community. This is going to give a lot of customizers, and cloth goods customizers specifically, just a lot of possibilities with what they can do with bodies like this. This is, of course, the TM02A body. It's the more muscular. There are 2 male bodies available. The TM01A is just a slightly slimmer, still muscular body, but slightly slimmer than this. So those are the 2 options that you have right now. If you're interested in trying to pick one of these up, I did get mine from a seller on eBay. You can look up TBLeague Phicen 1/12 male body. That should bring it up. I know these are also for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store. So go check them out if you want to put one of these on pre-order and check it out, because they are absolutely spectacular. But yeah, I definitely recommend it for people who just love really creative engineering and 6-inch scale figures. It's really a piece of art, in all honesty. So who knows what I'm going to do with this? I'm not sure. I was thinking of maybe making a Punisher off of this, or maybe a Wolverine, or something like that. You know, so we'll see what the creative juices give me as I mess around with this figure. But again, thanks so much for watching, guys. If you like things like this, like action figures and customs and stuff, you know, go ahead, hit like, hit subscribe, and go check me out on Instagram at FigureThisCustoms. I post all my custom work there. I have raffles. I have links to the videos here, you know, just all this sorts of stuff if you're interested in action figures and customs and things like that. But again, I thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. God bless you. And as always, go be yourselves.